Hello everyone, I hope you guys are all having a fabulous Monday. Today I'm coming at you with our weekly Minks Monday Q&A. And before we get started, let me share the bag that I'm currently rocking. And that is the Louis Vuitton Speedy 25 Bandouliere in the monogram canvas. Alright, so grab your coffee, grab your tea, let's start your workout, let's do your laundry on your way to work. Whatever it is that you do, come join me. Starting with the very first question from Jade Drummond. I just bought a classic mono Speedy 30 and the canvas is softer and thinner than my Demi Ben Speedy 35 and my mono GM Neverfull. Have you noticed that? Also, do you think it's weird that my newest Speedy was made in the 51st week of last year and Louis Vuitton is just selling in February 2017? I looked at 4 and they were all from 2016, just wondering. Okay, so do I think it's weird that your new Speedy was made the 51st week of last year? Not at all. Because I have seen various handbags when I'm looking at the date code. Sometimes I've seen some that have been, are from a year prior and they're still at the Louis Vuitton boutique. So it's all a matter of how popular that handbag is and whether they get new shipments in. So no, it's not weird at all. Especially because it's only a few months difference from when it was made to when you purchased it. And let's see, have I noticed that the canvas is softer and thinner on handbags? There have been various videos on YouTube about people discussing the fact that they've seen a difference. They've seen that some of the canvas is a little bit thinner. So I ended up bringing out a few different Speedies, my Neverfull, and I also have my Pichette Matisse. And I will have to say that this Speedy, this classic Speedy Demi Azur is from 2013. And this Mono Speedy is from 2015. And the one from 2013, there is a slight difference. I feel that there's a little bit more texture. It has you know how it has those little bumps kind of throughout it, that same texture that I was talking about? I feel that it's a little bit more noticeable on this one versus this one. And this one feels like it might be a little bit thinner than this one is. This one just feels very, not stiff, but very sturdy, very strong. And then I also have my Neverfull here, and my Neverfull seems to feel more like this Speedy. And I don't know if this is because this is the older Neverfull. I've had this like 6-7 years. So it feels a lot thicker. It feels a lot sturdier than the Mono Speedy. And I think what really started to kind of start this trend on for these videos is the Pichette Matisse, because there have been so many different variations of the Pichette Matisse. Yes, they're still the same silhouette, but they've had, whether they have a little Vachetta tab on the back side, but some people have said that the older Pichette Matisse was a little bit softer and the canvas was a lot softer. It wasn't as sturdy as it is now. And I will have to agree with that. This one feels a lot thicker than the Neverfull does. But then again, the biggest difference between these is the fact that this is lined with microfiber and this is just lined with a regular fabric interior. But I did want to add one more to the comparison, and that is the 25 Bandouliere, since this is the newest handbag that I have. And the texture of the canvas, the feel of it is very similar to the 30 Demi Azur. They both have they feel a little bit meatier. They feel a little bit thicker. So this is a newer one. So I don't know if that's something that hopefully they'll end up changing, because like I said before, a lot of people have mentioned this, but I did reach out to a few different sales associates, and for the most part, they all said that because of the different rolls that they use, the different rolls of canvas that they use for the handbags, there might be slight differences. Kind of like when, people notice that the monogram itself, sometimes the lettering or the flowers might look a little bit more caramel. They might look a little bit more of like an olive green tint to them. There's always a slight variation on the canvas itself. So once they use that entire roll, the next roll that they use might end up giving it a little bit more of a different tint. Now, I understand the tint part, but I'm still wondering about the canvas, because then you start to take into consideration the process that they use to coat the canvas itself. So, like I said, that's what they told me. I'm still very curious because, You know, a lot of us here have noticed it, and I don't think we're crazy saying that it's that it's very thin or it's a lot thicker than some of the other handbags. So I'm really curious to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Do you have a bag that feels a little bit thinner than the other ones? Have you had any issues? I think this is a great topic of conversation for us to have in the comment section down below. So if you would like to share, let me know down below. All right, next question from Peyton Marie. What is the best boutique experience you've had? What bag were you buying? From what location? And what made it such a great experience? Great sales associate, great selection, etc. Oh man, this is a tough one because I've had some really amazing experiences, and then I've also had some that are not so nice. But when everything kind of lined up as far as the great sales associate, great selection, I'd have to say when I purchased my Chanel Jumbo Double Flap, and I purchased it at South Coast Plaza, it was just such an exhilarating experience. I don't know if it's mostly because I was purchasing my Holy Grail bag, but the sales associate was great. They had the medium large there, so I was able to kind of play with both bags, and they also had the jumbo in the silver hardware. So, you know, when I went in to get a classic flap, I was leaning more towards the jumbo, although I had really given it a lot of thought to look at the medium large as well. So the fact that they had both there, that I can kind of figure out which one suited my lifestyle the best at that time, was great. But we had champagne, and it was just such a great experience. Plus the sales associate was talking to my husband for some time. So any time that they can bring in our hubbies into the conversation, I think it makes the experience even better because they're not just sitting there bored. They're not just sitting there bored. So that was a great experience. And I will also have to say that they might not have had the best selection, but one of the most notable experiences that I had outside of the country was at the Chanel in Venice. The sales associate was so incredibly nice. She went above and beyond, and at that time I was buying the wallet on chain So Black with the black chevron lambskin, and it was another great experience. So I think those two stick out the most, but again, I've had such great experiences at various boutiques, but definitely the jumbo is one that I will never ever forget, especially because I've kind of, you know, touched base on it here, that I said that I was kind of like, I don't know, I just it felt surreal, the entire experience. So again, I think it's because it was the Holy Grail and whatnot, but it still stands out. So I'd have to say that one. All right, next question from Athens Shake 18. I was wondering if you ever clean your dust bags and how. Fantastic question. I do clean my dust bags, and not only will I tell you guys how I do it, but I will also tell you what I used to do, and I would strongly advise against it, but to each their own. Okay, so in years past, probably 5 or 6 years ago, I had quite a bit of particles on a Louis Vuitton dust bag. I decided to throw that baby in the washing machine, and then I decided to dry it. Well, the problem is that the Louis Vuitton dust bags are 100% cotton. So not only did it end up shrinking the dust bag, but it caused it to have quite a bit of pilling. And like this is the one on my Pichette Matisse. It's for the most part very soft. I will have to say that I would like Louis Vuitton to make their dust bags just a little bit thicker, because some of the other fashion houses have, you know, some really nice dust bags. I know it's something small, but I just thought I'd throw that out there, okay? Anyways, so it started to get pilling on the dust bag on the outside. So I decided, okay, I don't want the pilling on there. It's not attractive. I decided to take those off. Well, what ended up happening is that when I held this up to the sunlight, it actually ended up thinning out the dust bag. And the reason why I advise against it is because if you have a room where you set your handbags, kind of like where I do, where you get quite a bit of sunlight that ends up hitting your bags, if you end up having a very thin dust bag, you'll have more sunlight than you would like affecting your handbag and getting onto your handbag, and it can end up affecting the patina, especially if, like, for example, let's say you have a Speedy on your shelf and you have a very thin dust bag, it'll cause this leather to patina a lot darker and a lot quicker than the one on the backside. Now, I know that these aren't patina proof, if you will, but it really does help to protect the handbag, not only from the dust, but also from, you know, moisture or just from sunlight, as I said earlier. So that's why like I said, I would advise to not put it in the dryer, because not only will it shrink it, but the pilling will make it thin out. So it kind of takes away from the whole point of having a dust bag. So what I end up doing now is I take a lint roller. I feel that a lint roller not only eliminates the dust that I don't want, it eliminates all the other little particles that might be flying around my room that end up settling on the dust bag. Plus, I feel that it's a lot softer to put that on there, and it doesn't end up taking too much fabric from the dust bag. So that's what I end up doing. A lint roller, it just takes everything away, and it still keeps, you know, it keeps these to protect my handbags a little bit more. So that's what I would suggest. And like I said, I wish, well, some of the other Chanel handbags too, they have really, really thin dust bags. But I wish all dust bags were a little bit thicker. Do you agree with me on that? But yeah, so if you can, like I said, to each their own, I would advise against putting them in the washing machine and the dryer, like what I did, and then just sticking to a, what's it called? A lint roller, because I think it works the best. Next question from Sonia N. I wanted to ask if you've had any problems bringing back items from Paris. My husband and I are going to Paris for the first time. How exciting. This August for a 5-year anniversary. During that time, I will be making my first Louis Vuitton purchases, and I'm looking to get the Speedy B25 in the Gien wallet. Also, would you recommend going to the flagship store in Paris, or am I better off going to a different Louis Vuitton store in Paris? Okay, so have I had any problems bringing back items from Paris? I haven't. The only time I had an issue bringing something back, and it's only because they lost my luggage. That's the only thing, is when we went to Italy this past time. So I haven't had any issues, but I also want to take the time to let you guys know that what I'm going to attempt to do when we go to London, you guys know that I have kind of like a wish list set in mind of the things that I'd like to buy when I'm there. But when I start packing everything up on our way home, I think I'm going to end up filming a video at the hotel so you guys can see how I end up bringing stuff back. Because I get a lot of questions on, you guys want to bring back either a shopping bag, or you want to bring back the boxes or anything else. And just kind of the way that I kind of make, I always call it Tetris, putting it back into my, you know, into my suitcase or onto my carry-on, and how I end up bringing everything back. I think it'll be, hopefully I'm guessing it'll be a helpful video, but that's what I would like to do when I'm there, because I think it'll be the easiest way for me to show you guys how to bring stuff back. So I'm looking forward to doing that. And would I recommend going to the flagship store in Paris, or am I better off going into a different store? 100% I recommend going to the Louis Vuitton on the Champs-Élysées. It is such an incredible experience. It is an enormous store. It takes up the entire block, mostly because of the parking, but it is huge. It has so many items, and you get to see a lot of things at that particular flagship store that some of the other boutiques might not have. But I would strongly suggest to go there, and maybe if you don't get both items there, at least get one of them, because it'll be such a fantastic souvenir to bring back and say that you got it at the Louis Vuitton at the Champs-Élysées. Sorry, my voice completely went out there. So yes, safe travels and congratulations. I am super, super excited for you. All right, next question from leggingjunkie.com. What are your thoughts on the Louis Vuitton Bandouliere Straps? I have watched videos on here about them, and I was curious as to your thoughts and if it's worth the purchase. I recently purchased a monogram Alma BB and considering the strap to pair it with. Thoughts? Wonderful question. And what are my thoughts on Louis Vuitton Bandouliere Straps? I think that they are a fantastic way to personalize your handbag without committing to something like a Mono piece, because they have so many different colors that you can choose from. And I think it's a really fun way to dress up your bag. But like I said, the best thing is that it's not a permanent personalization that you're doing to your handbag. So let's say that you want a pop of color with a strap. They retail for $495 here in the States, and I will make sure and put a link directly to them on the description box below so you guys can check them out. You can have a little bit more eye candy, but you can, you know, let's say that you want that pop of color for a little bit, for a little while, and then you decide you don't want it, you can just take it off and you don't have to worry that you have to get a Mon Mono Speedy or a Mon Mono Neverfull, especially because it makes it a lot easier to play around with other handbags, not necessarily the ones that are only used for Mon Mono. So I think it's genius. I think it's great. Some of the colors are extremely vibrant. And another thing that I really like about them is the fact that they're a lot thicker. So I feel that they won't end up digging into your shoulder. I feel that they're going to be a lot more comfortable. And again, the fact that they have that pop of color is just a great way to personalize your handbag. And then you can mix and match. So let's say you want to get a pink one, you want to get a yellow one, a blue one, or what have you. You can play around with them, and you don't have to buy, I mean, you can have so many different looks for one handbag without having to buy 3-4 different handbags to get those colors. You know, kind of like what I said before with the Mon Mono. It's just a great way to just play around and, you know, be able to show your personality through your handbag. So I think it's a great investment. And, you know, come to think of it, I think that hopefully, I'm guessing that they'll end up introducing them in the Damier Ebene and the Damier Azur, especially if they end up being extremely popular. I would love to see them incorporate those two prints into the Bandouliere straps, again, to give an even wider variety for people to be able to add them to their handbags if they want to go for a different look. So I thought I'd also mention that. Next question from LuxGamer99. Random question here, but you used to do milestone videos, whether it was 5,000, 10,000 subscribers, or even giveaways before, but not anymore. Will you be doing something big when you reach 50,000 subscribers? I love this question, and I've gotten this quite a few times on Instagram throughout the last couple of years. And, you know, when I started my YouTube channel, I didn't have a set schedule for videos. I was kind of all over the place. I didn't really know what the heck I was doing. I still don't know. Fast forward to 3.5, almost 4 years later, I'm still kind of all over the place. But, you know, when I got my first subscriber, I was through the roof. I was just like, oh my goodness, there's no way. It was surreal. Then I got 5, then I got 10, then I got 100. And I'll be honest, I paid a lot of attention to the number of subscribers that I had. I was always thinking of the next milestone, the next milestone. But I can honestly say that as the years progress, the more videos that I do, I view it a lot more differently than I used to. And I have to say that every YouTuber will answer this question differently. Every YouTuber might have a different opinion, and that's fine. But the reason why I don't do milestone videos anymore are because I don't want to focus on the number. I feel that when you focus on the number, you think of the subscriber as just another number. You think of it that way. You know, you're thinking, oh, I have 10,000 now. I can't wait till I have 12. I can't wait till I have 15. But I am eternally appreciative that you guys take time out of your busy schedules to watch a glimpse out of mine, and I don't want to lose sight of that. I want to celebrate the people that watch my channel now, and I don't call you guys subscribers. You guys know that. I call you guys my friends, because even though I haven't met all of you, I've only met a handful of you. You know me. You understand me. You get my craziness, and that's what I want to celebrate. That's what I want to appreciate. I never want to lose sight of that, because it's not another number. It's not subscriber 1051, you know, subscriber 5025. No, it's a Nancy, it's a Sandra, it's a Mike. And even though some of you might not comment on my videos, that's fine. That's totally fine. But I see the likes. And some of you might not comment on my videos. Some of you will comment on my Instagram, and you'll tell me, you know, about a product that you bought or a bag that you bought, and you're just so excited and you wanted to share it with me. That's what's important to me. The relationship that I feel that I have with you guys, because I try my hardest to respond to as many comments as I possibly can. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult, but I'm either in the comments with you guys or I'm responding to direct messages on Instagram. I'm kind of bad on those, I'll be honest. But I care about the relationship that we have, and I don't want to lose sight of that. I don't want to take away from the friends that I've made on here. And it's not another number. So that's why I don't do the milestone videos anymore, because if I do get the opportunity to get to 50,000 subscribers, to 60,000 subscribers, that's awesome. It's more people in our community and more people that we can talk about luxury goods with, especially if we don't have people outside in the real world that get our love for luxury goods. That's awesome. It's not about the number. And I can tell you right now that if I was to lose every single person and only have one person left watching my videos, I would still be excited, because that person is still taking the time to watch my videos. So like I said before, every YouTuber will answer this differently, but this is just how I see things and how I feel, because I'm just so incredibly happy that I have somewhere that I can be myself, number one, and can be excited for me when I buy something and understand that excitement, or just, you don't need, you guys have brought me so much happiness, and I am very, very grateful for that. So thank you. All right. So I don't want to get all emotional, so I'm sorry if you guys are getting ready for work and I made you get emotional. My apologies. All right, next question from Shopping with a Passion. I remember once you said you had a cutoff price for the amount that you would spend on a bag that had canvas on it from Louis Vuitton. Can you talk about that? What is your cutoff? What if the bag is part canvas and part leather? Wonderful question. I do have a cutoff, and that is $2,000 for an all canvas handbag from Louis Vuitton with leather trimmings. Now, I'm not trying to take away from handbags from Louis Vuitton that are over $2,500 or over $2,000 that are canvas. I still think that they are beautiful. I still appreciate them for what they are. They are just not for me. Because when it comes to that price point, I would much rather end up going for, even if it's a different fashion house, for a bag that has all leather. It just makes sense to me. It's something that I prefer, to each their own. Like I said, I'm not trying to take away from anyone that has purchased a handbag that is a little bit more expensive or over that $2,000. It's just my personal preference. And when it comes to the bags that have canvas and that have leather, again, I feel that it's still, for the most part, 50% leather and 50% canvas, and I think that they are beautiful, kind of like the kimono bag. It's just a stunning bag, but I still feel that it's still too much canvas for that price point, especially when some of them end up being like $2,800, $3,100. I just, personally, I cannot justify that amount for it to have any type of canvas whatsoever. I want to see all leather for that price tag. But I still think they're beautiful. I remember saying once upon a time that the artsy, that's another reason why I ended up going with on the pre-loved route, was because it was too close to that $2,000 mark, especially when you add in tax. It's well over $2,000, and that's just something that I didn't feel that I didn't want to do. So at the $2,000 price point and above, there are so many beautiful handbags from Louis Vuitton, but they are just not for me for the reasons that I gave. But I'm really curious to hear your guys' thoughts on this topic. Is this something that you kind of do as well? Do you have a certain price point that you go for only canvas, and then you start to look at going for an all leather handbag? I'd really like to know your guys' thoughts, and if you want to share, please let us know in the comment section down below. All right, so next question from Tony Munoz. I'm going to be getting a Louis Vuitton handbag. I'm torn between a Neverfull MM and the Pichette Matisse reverse mono. Please help, in need of an opinion. All right, so I don't have the reverse mono, but I did want to bring this out just for eye candy, the regular Pichette Matisse in the monogram, and I also brought out the Neverfull MM in the monogram canvas. I'm not too sure which Neverfull you want to go for. Of course, they are completely different handbags. You have a tote, you have a crossbody. They're both very casual handbags. I will have to say, if you're going for the monogram Neverfull, you guys know it's one of my favorite handbags, but you have to look at it a few different ways. Number one, it doesn't have as much security as the Pichette Matisse has. And also, let's say that you're not too crazy about having to worry about water stains. You don't want to have to worry about patina. The reverse mono Pichette Matisse is such a fantastic option because it has the treated leather. So you don't have to worry about water stains. You don't have to worry about absolutely anything. You can use it crossbody. It still has quite a bit of space that you can end up putting all of your items in here. So You know, I'm a big fan of the reverse mono. I wasn't too crazy about the colors of the canvas way back when. It's still something that I definitely appreciate. Would I ever add it to my collection? Probably not, because I have the monogram one. But I love the fact that you don't have to worry about any type of weather when you're wearing it whatsoever. So I love that aspect about it. But let's say that, you know, you don't mind the vachetta, you don't mind the water stains. I'm just a big fan of the Neverfull, because I feel that you can use this bag so many different ways. I'd say maybe a little bit more than the Pichette Matisse. But then again, that's probably because I'm just so crazy about this handbag. I love both of them, and they're both my all-stars, but this one just kind of is a little bit more. So hopefully that was able to give you a little bit of help, but congratulations on whichever one that you decide to pick up. All right, so I don't even know if that was helpful or not. Next question from Sexy Dynamite London. I'm looking for a compact wallet. I normally carry 8 cards and some cash, and I hate folding my bills. I have a Louis Vuitton zippy compact wallet. I like it, but my problem is folding the bills. I looked into the Serios compact in Emprunt after seeing many good reviews, but when I hold it in my hand, it doesn't make my heart sing. I saw this on the Louis Vuitton website, which is the vertical card holder, and I will make sure and put a link on the description box below so you have a little bit more eye candy and you know what I'm talking about. What are your thoughts on this item? Do you think it could be used as a compact wallet? And do you think it'll be too bulky if I fill it with 16 cards and some cash? Say maybe 10 to 15 bills. Wonderful question. Now, I did ask my sales associate if she knew of any wallet that can still be compact to the point where you didn't have to fold your bills. And for the most part, she said that there aren't any, because it's just either a hair too short for it to end up, fitting the bills without you having to fold them. But when I take a look at the vertical card holder, I really like it. But the only thing that worries me about this specific item is the fact that it doesn't have a zipper. It doesn't have a snap button closure. And when you start to fit, the 10 to 15 bills, or when you start to fit more credit cards in there, I feel that it ends up opening up on its own. And you run the risk of maybe losing some money, or maybe losing a credit card. So that's the only thing that freaks me out about that. It kind of reminds me of the pocket organizer. But again, when you're going into a pocket organizer, I feel that you're either going a little bit more compact, or maybe it's a daily wallet that you end up using. But that kind of freaks me out myself. I don't know why. But that's the only thing. But if it makes your heart sing, that's what's important. And there are so many other wallets. But then again, you start going into a full size wallet, whether they're 7.5 inches in length up to 7 3/4 or 8 inches wide or in length. So now it's no longer a compact wallet. So unfortunately, there aren't too many there aren't any that you wouldn't have to fold your bills themselves. I know that she had recommended the Clemence wallet. So that's another one that you can look at, but again, it's a little bit larger. And if you kind of like the setup of the vertical card holder, take a look at the vertical zippy wallet, because you do have that zipper, so you don't have to worry that your items will end up falling out. So hopefully that was able to help. And again, I will put a link to the wallets that I'm talking about on the description box below. And the last question from Marielle F. I'm saving up to get the classic Speedy in either 25 or 30, and I've had my heart set on the Damier Ebene print because of how that red interior causes angels to sing when zipped open. I absolutely love the description, by the way. However, upon my research, I've seen that in the long run, the handles rubbing against each other causes obvious wear and chipping. I'm not a fan of the Speedy B, so that's not an option. Do you know of a way to prevent the wearing of the handles? I also don't really want to tie twillies around them. I know I'm not making this easy, haha, sorry. No worries, I love this question, and I can tell you that when I had my Damier Ebene Speedy 35, I didn't have any issues with the leather either chipping or wearing or showing any wear whatsoever, to be honest. And I never babied the bag, and I would use lotion, sometimes I had perfume and what have you, and I never noticed a single thing on the handles. And I had it for a few years as well. But I know a lot of people have had issues with their Damier Ebene either flaking off, or the wrinkling causes it to kind of lift up. So the reason why I wanted to incorporate this question into Minks Monday is because I want to turn to you guys, and I want to hear if you have any advice for Marielle, and if you have experienced this as well. and some of the things that you do to prevent the wear on your Demi Ebene handbags. Now, she doesn't want to use Twillies, and she doesn't like the Speedy Bandouliere, so I want to know if there's something else that you can think of that we can help her, that we can help her out. That way, when she does get her classic Speedy, she's able to see those angels sing, and therefore she will have a little bit, she'll feel a little bit better of her purchase if there's something that she can do to avoid that. So I turn to you guys. I turn to the experts to see what kind of advice you guys can offer, because like I said, I didn't have any issues, so I haven't experienced it firsthand, and I haven't experienced it on my Neverfull either, although I do have the wrinkling, but there's still no chipping, there's no noticeable wear as far as the coating coming off. So I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Alright, you guys, so that does it for Minks Monday Q&A. I hope you enjoyed it, and I do have to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys so much for all of the sweet well wishes on the 20-second video that I did for Minks Monday last week, explaining why I wasn't going to be doing a video. My voice is slowly coming back because I continue to talk. I will talk to a cardboard box if I have to. I just can't be stopped. But again, thank you guys so much for all of the well wishes. It really meant so much to me. And I was so bummed out on Monday because it felt like a different day of the week. It didn't feel like a normal Monday. But that's it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And again, I'd love to hear your thoughts on anything that we discussed, because it's not just my opinion, it's a conversation with you guys. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow. And as always, make it a fabulous day or not. The choice is yours. Have a great day, you guys.